Hi there. I'd like to share with you a recent epiphany I had. It was back on September 21st, and I was doing my shopping before Shabbos, and I had entered a local food store. It's called Trader Joe's, and it's in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. And I was doing my weekly Shabbos shop. So upon entering the store, I've been in the store many times and familiar with where everything is, and have never encountered anything out of the ordinary. But this time, it was something different. I had a very strange experience. So immediately upon entering the vestibule to enter the store, I was accosted by a huge display of pumpkins of all sizes, mountains of giant pumpkins and miniature pumpkins. And then as I entered the store, it didn't stop there. Everywhere I looked, I was surrounded by pumpkins or pumpkin flavored food. I had never seen anything like it in my life. Literally on every shelf, there was some sort of pumpkin variation. I kid you not. Here's a list of some of the pumpkin items I saw. They had pumpkin coffee, pumpkin spice tea, pumpkin chai, pumpkin pecan oatmeal, pumpkin flavored Greek yogurt that you could eat with your pumpkin spice granola. You could dip pumpkin pita into pumpkin hummus, pumpkin fig Newtons, pumpkin flavored pasta sauce with a recipe for pumpkin flavored lasagna, pumpkin goat cheese, pumpkin tortilla chips and pumpkin potato chips that you could dip into your pumpkin salsa, pumpkin pretzels, pumpkin applesauce, pumpkin jam that you could spread on pumpkin bread, and of course, pumpkin seeds of all genres and flavors, including pumpkin spice flavored pumpkin seeds. I thought that was kind of excessive, but then again, I guess they were consistently excessive. They had pumpkin syrup that you could eat with pumpkin flavored Belgian waffles or pumpkin flavored pancake mix. And of course, they had gluten free pumpkin flavored pancakes too. God forbid they should exclude any of the gluten free folks like me. Do you like pumpkin desserts? Oh boy, well, they had pumpkin glazed donuts, pumpkin danishes, pumpkin strudel, pumpkin pies in every imaginable size and variation, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin jello, pumpkin pudding, pumpkin muffins, pumpkin ice cream that could be served with pumpkin whipped topping. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, then how about pumpkin biscotti or Belgian chocolate pumpkins and pumpkin chocolate bars? You could wipe it all up with pumpkin scented facial tissues, and you could clean the air with pumpkin scented air freshener, pumpkin scented air freshener. Wash your hands with pumpkin liquid soap. And you could do all of this to the warm glow of pumpkin spice candles that are placed in pumpkin woven candle jars with pumpkin motif paper towels and plates and cups and napkins, etc. Just in case you hadn't had enough pumpkin, you could buy pumpkin plush toys that you could give your son or daughter. And while you're at it, you could buy him or her a pumpkin costume so he or she can dress up like a giant human pumpkin. And actually, to tell you the truth, after being in the store for a couple minutes, I thought I was turning into one. What in the world was going on? What was this pumpkin mania all about? Everywhere I turned, I saw pumpkin products, literally every shelf. Even the beverage aisle had pumpkin flavored seltzer, for crying out loud. And they had pumpkin flavored almond milk and pumpkin spiced apple cider. I couldn't believe it. So I was trying to do my Shabbos shopping, and as inconspicuously as I always do, and I was heading towards the checkout counter and remember that I had to get some chocolate babka for Shabbos. We buy it there every week. It's delicious. It's kosher. It comes from Brooklyn. It's nice and Hamish. So would you believe it that there was no more chocolate? I'm sorry, there was no more chocolate babka anymore. It had been replaced with pumpkin babka. I thought I was going nuts. Could you imagine if someone with pumpkin anxiety would have entered the store? Sheesh. They would have to call the pumpkin paramedics. I mean, what's the deal? I get it. It's plump. It's orange. It's neat. It's nice and everything. But enough is enough. I mean, a little pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving is great, but this was ridiculous. And anyway, pumpkin isn't the best squash. Butternut squash is. Pumpkin is way overrated. But nevertheless, they were going pumpkin crazy. And it wasn't just one store, it was ubiquitous. I saw it in a couple other supermarkets as well. They all had pumpkin aisles throughout the store. I asked the store manager at Trader Joe's, I said, hey, isn't it a bit early for pumpkin? Isn't that a winter squash? Can't Can't you let us enjoy our last couple weeks of September? So the manager said, today's the first day of fall, and now it's pumpkin season. I realized that this was consumerism at work, consumerism at its best. The marketers had realized they can capitalize on a consumer's sweet memories of pumpkin pie at their Thanksgiving feast or whatever, and they could bring that taste up to the foreground, even though it was still months away. By inundating the shoppers with pumpkin images and pumpkin flavors, they tap into this sweet but latent memory and familiar affinity. It's taking that familiar flavor that had been dormant and was pushed to the back burner all year long, and they thrust it front and center, full throttle. They're trying to effectively generate a surge of pumpkin enthusiasm and pumpkin mania and sell more products. So it's anticipatory and it's exciting and it's making that pumpkin real. My friends, the pumped up pumpkin hype at Trader Joe's teaches us a deep lesson about the call of the hour for us Jews and for all peoples of the world. And it also teaches us a deep truth about the human condition. You see, we are presently in the dawn of a new era, the days of Mashiach and the Messianic redemption. We aren't just at the threshold or the very beginning of this, like the first day of fall of September 21st, for example. We are well into this irreversible process of Mashiach's arrival and the ultimate redemption of mankind. Indeed, we have embarked on the most exciting and rewarding time in human history, the true and complete Geula, the true and complete redemption, when the essence of God will finally become manifest in creation. A time of no more war or hunger, pain or suffering, poverty or illness, handicap, jealousy, hatred, or intolerance. A world without violence, a world without greed or discord, but only love, health, acceptance, and bonding, and plenty. A time where every individual achieves fulfillment as being the conduit for the divine, as part of a harmonious Garden of Eden-like paradise that reflects its divine gardener. A world where heaven and earth are finally at peace. Where humankind finally taps into the ultimate human potential and man comes to intimately know his creator. A time when all of Israel, all of God's dispersed, beloved people, will return from the four corners of the earth to the sacred soil of the land promised to our ancestors. A time when God's presence will be revealed for all to see in the third holy temple in its proper place atop God's holy mountain, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. A time when all the nations of the world will stream to Jerusalem to seek God. A time when all of our beloved loved ones, departed loved ones, will rise from their tombs and sing songs of joy. Hakitzu v'ranenu shochne afar. A tearful reunion with our loved ones from the past who have returned to celebrate with us as we achieve the dream of dreams, God finally fulfilling his vow to his people. This is but a mere glimpse into the Geula, the true and complete redemption. We are presently forging full speed ahead to this unfathomable time. Ancient prophecies have been unfolding before our very eyes. It's time to wake up to a new reality, a godly reality. So, what does all this have to do with pumpkins, you ask? Good question. You see, the Trader Joe's marketers have tapped into something that we could all learn from. We all have an inner and deep sense of right and wrong, a deep feeling in our souls that of how the world ought to be, and how the world someday will be a good place and a redeemed place. But unfortunately and tragically, we suppress this idealism. From a very early age, we are confronted with and browbeaten by gullus, by exile, and by darkness. So we are conditioned into believing the perceived reality of lackluster separateness, disunity, and hopelessness and gloom. The only thing we have to look forward to in life is death, and at most a bit of temporary and fleeting enjoyment along the way. Such is life in the exile, where God's presence is in exile too, as it were. But guess what? We have turned the page on this dismal chapter in history. Times are a-changing. Mashiach is here and now. Time to open our eyes to a new reality. You might think that it's not till a distant future, but I'm here to tell you that it's happening now. So let's get ready. Let's learn the lesson from the Trader Joe's Pumpkin Mania. Everywhere we turn, let's start to see the signposts of Mashiach. It's a sumptuous flavor that has been buried deep within our psyche and long forgotten. But let's start learning about Mashiach, the Holy Temple, the redemption. Let's start seeing that flavor, that scent, that aroma in everything we do and everywhere we go. Let's whet our appetite for that glorious time that's coming right up the bend, sooner than we could ever imagine. The Lubavitcher Rebbe told us that all we need to do is to open our eyes, to expand our horizons, by studying the inner teachings of the Torah as taught in Hasidus Chabad, and in particular, the Torah teachings about Mashiach. Once we open our eyes, signs of redemption will be ubiquitous. Let's see Mashiach in our relationships, in our workplace, in our interaction with our fellow, our neighbors, and most of all with our children. When I eat, let me start to taste the redemption, a piece of the cosmos that God is creating ex nihilo at this very moment with which to sustain me. When I drink, I can savor the living waters that will stream forth from Jerusalem at the time of redemption, the well springs of divine wisdom that has been hidden since the Garden of Eden. When I breathe God's breath of life that He's breathing into my nostrils, the spirit of Mashiach that's in the air. Let's wake up in the morning to the first moment of consciousness in which we acknowledge our Creator and express gratitude. In that first moment, be in a redeemed state of mind, a redeemed presence. That moment will affect and elevate the rest of your day. I can start to see gratitude everywhere, grateful that I'm living in the most awesome time in human history. I'm here to behold and witness and experience what my ancestors only dreamed of for millennia. Even though I may presently still be in the diaspora, away from our holy land and away from the Holy Temple, I can endeavor to make my own home a sanctuary for God by making Torah study, prayer, and acts of kindness the mainstay of my home. In a sense, I can make my surroundings as a land of Israel and microcosm, as I display my Jewish pride and Yiddishkeit proudly and freely. Although in the final moments of exile, we can begin to experience a foretaste of the joy of redemption. So let's start getting all pumped up about the redemption. Let's learn about it, live it, take possession of it, and make it yours. See the scent and the flavor of redemption everywhere. May we merit to the true and complete redemption through King Mashiach in the most immediate present. Amen.